Hello YouTube world and welcome to the Experimental Lab channel. Today we're building a Linon triena red cherry wood chair. Now if that's not a tongue twister, I don't know what is. So we're going to do the review and we're going to go ahead and do the build, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is my first time opening a box. One thing you want to make sure when you're going through these boxes or when ordering, make sure that it has the hardware kits. And apparently they examined it or did something with it, I don't know. That's the first one with the red tape within it. Here's your accessory, or your screw kit. Now, two tools you're gonna need for this. If you're not gonna use what comes with it, you still will need a Phillips screwdriver. They don't provide that, but they do provide an Allen wrench. But what you want is a 5/32. It's a hexagonal bit. And a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. I'm gonna go ahead and use a drill for this. And if you're not comfortable with a drill because you might over torque it or strip the bolts, you can use the manual tool. The only problem with that is the easiness of this build is a 1, but the difficulty becomes a 3 when you have to do it by hand, because it becomes kind of daunting, and when you come to the Phillips screws, then that's when it becomes a problem a little bit. So here's your legs. Here's the back of the chair. Just going to get this out of the box. This is one of the first pieces you're going to need. This is the square. So this is the part you sit on, along with its seat for this square. And there should be 2 more legs, and there is. Oh, good thing it's wrapped in safety and the instruction manual if you need it. I don't know, after watching this video, if you still need it, then I did a bad job, and let me know in the comments and I'll do a better job next video. So let's go ahead and get the pieces open. This is the leg brackets. So the first piece that you want to get is the back of the chair. As you can see, there's 2 holes for the box, and then there's also 3 other holes here for the box as well. But this screw is off-centered. I mean, it's in the center, but it's offset to being lower than the 2 upper ones. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this part down. Let's go ahead and get our square outs. And again, as you can see, you have your 3 holes, this one being offset. Okay? So what you want to do is line it up. And you're going to use your A and C screws. Your B is the middle child, and your A is the tallest or longest, and your C is the shortest. So for this part of the chair, you're going to want the shortest and the longest. So the C is the 3 bolts, set of screws. It's the shortest. And then you have your A's, which is 4 bolts, and they're the longest. And what you want to do is grab all your bolts. You're going to get your washers, which is these guys right here. And you're going to use your lock washers as well. That's piece D, it's 11 pieces. And your regular washers are piece E, 11 pieces as well. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your 4 bolts Get 4 washers. Get 4 lock washers and place those on first. Now once you do that, go ahead and get 4 of your washers. That should have opened better. And insert those one washer per bolt. Same thing, it was 1 lock washer per bolt. Just place those on. And there you go. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna insert each bolt. Just throw them in there for right now. And what you're going to want to do is fill for the holes, hand tighten it a few screws in, a few turns in. See. So they're kind of there in place, do not tighten them quite yet. So now you want to get your C bolts, and again you're going to do the same thing. One lock washer first per bolts. And you can tell what the lock washers are. They're the smallest, and then they have a little slit right here in the ring. You can place those in. And if not, if there's any confusion, the bag does say the part number on it. And then you're going to get your washer, which is pretty big, and you're going to throw those in there. And then once you have them all in there, go ahead and insert each one. Again, give it a couple of turns as you insert them. And the reason why you want the turns, you want to make sure that they're screwing in freely without any resistance. If you feel resistance, then there's something going on with the screw. It's not screwing in at the right angle. And you don't want to strip it because I am using a drill that I am going to put on the torque to 15. So you want a 15 torque when you're torquing these bolts down. It's not, it doesn't say in here, I'm just guessing. So you might want to check on your chair every once in a while to do retightenings if it needs it. But I'm using 15, I haven't had any problems. And the chair that I'm using as a stand today is the same chair that I'm building right now. So we're going to torque these down to 15. I'm starting with the center first. I do outers, and then I go inner. And again, you don't hear the clicks right now because I'm not fully torquing them down. I'm just screwing them in to a point that they're kind of tight. So I'm going to go across on here as an X. Now that we got all the bolts in and tightened, now we want to torque them down. See, once you hear that clicking sound, you know it's torqued in. And again, I'm still going to go cross. So cross, X. Good thing I'm ambidextrous so I can use both my hands here. And then you want to go in the center. So I'm going to do outer first. And the last bolt here is middle. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is grab your 3 supports for the legs. 2 of them are going to be the same length. One of them is going to be shorter than 2. So this is going to be your front bar, and these are going to be on the sides. If you're facing it the way I am, where it's the back, your left side is going to be even. So number 6 is going to go over here, and again, it's going to face down because you don't want to see the nails when you screw those in. So number 6 over here to the left. Number 7 odd to my right. And again, you're gonna use the legs. The legs are even and odd. So the even one is gonna go on the left side and the odd one is gonna go on the right side. So let's go ahead and get those, let's get these in. So this is number 4. Number 4 goes on my left. And what you want to do, instead of putting the other leg on right now, is you want to get the B bolts, which is the middle child, the middle bolts. And again, you want to do the same thing that you did before. You're going to go ahead and grab the last 4 lock washers. And the last 4 washers. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 down because I only need 2 for right now. And what you want to do is you're going to find the holes here in the center. And you're going to find either the top or bottom, just depending on which one you're using first. Again, give that a hand tighten. Do not over tighten it. Give it a few turns in, and then go ahead and put the second one in. And now that I have a little bit of support, now I can put the other leg without having to worry about falling down. The reason why you want these bolts loose, because you're going to place the center wood here. Because if you were to screw this in, it's tight and you wouldn't be able to get the center wood here right in. So let's go ahead and get this one in. Again, this is number 5 to number 7. Interesting. Put that in. Okay, be careful with that. There's 2 slots. It's the slot that's the higher one on the bar. Plus, it lines up the holes with the bolts. And again, you're just going to put in the 2 screws, 2 nuts here, and tighten them just a little bit. They don't need to go in much. I'm going to unscrew the first one because I just realized the washer fell off of my hands. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. Okay, now that we've gotten our bolts in, we want to put our last piece in. Now, of course, as you can see, it has the notches at the bottom. And that's the way you want, this is the way you want it orientated towards the bottom of the floor, pointing down, because you do not want to see the holes. If you go this way, you're going to see the holes, but if you go this way, they're hidden. Again, go ahead and slide that in. Just hold it in place. Go ahead and grab your tool. Tighten it down a little bit, don't go too much. Again, there's no cross on this one because they're independent as far as the legs. So when they're on the same support, then you go ahead and do a cross. But in this case, since they're individual legs, I've tightened them, but I haven't torqued them down. And as you can see, I can work with this a lot better. Now, at this point, what you want to do is flip the chair over so you have access to all your holes, which are 2 right here, there's 2 up here, and then there's 2 back here. So there's 6 holes all together. So what you're going to want to do is look for the 6-piece screws, which is letter F for the screws. So again, at this point, now we're going to go ahead and change our drill bit from the hexagonal 532 to number 2 Phillips, and you won't need that piece anymore. You're done with that piece. because from here it's just the screws. Oh, no, you're not. I'm sorry, no, you're not. But we'll get back to that. Now, you want to make sure that this is magnetic or that it holds in place. See, since I have the right number, it holds it in place. What you want to do is place the screw in the hole and press firmly against the leg and against your screw so that way you don't strip it. One thing I forgot to tell you is that on the screws, you want to change it to 17 as far as the torque. So you do want to change the torque setting on that. If not, the 15 pounds won't be enough for it to screw in. Okay, there's one. Here's number 2. And again, since they're on an individual bar, there's no cross torquing, so you can just screw these in as you go. But you want to be careful because it does want to back out. So if it does back out and you have a gap, just go ahead and back out your screw until the point where both woods meet each other. Once they do and you have no more gap of where my thumb is at, then go ahead and re-screw it back in. And there you go. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the other. So right now I'm getting the back legs. Again, now I'm using my body plus pulling on the back of the leg to make sure that they're flush against each other as far as the wood, and then I'm gonna go ahead and screw in. Okay. And again, don't worry about hearing the click. If it's all the way in, you're good to go. This one, you don't need to hear the click. And then the last 2 screws. Right there, right there. Now that I have all the screws in, I don't have to press the wood. It's already in its place. Now I just have to screw it in. There's one. And you'll know because once it starts pulling back on you as far as the drill, you know you're fully in there. Now we want to go back to those other 3 bolts, other 4 bolts, and now go ahead and torque those down.
Let me out, I'm stuck in your pocket.
Uh-oh, somebody's stuck in somebody's pocket. Okay, so now I'm torquing it down. You can hear the bit. Again, make sure it's back on 15. Because you don't want to over torque it, because you don't want the washers digging into the wood. They did a really good job when it came to drilling the holes and placing the threading in there that you don't need to over torque it. I like this chair a lot. As far as a review on this thing, I give this guy a 10 for the chair. It holds 250 pounds as far as an individual. Now, one thing I want to caution you on is when you're placing a seat, but look at this guy. So we're gonna have to clean that one later. I don't know what that is, I guess it's the foam. But you want to be cautious when placing the seat because you can place it at a kind of an odd angle in the back. Won't affect the performance, it'll just look weird when people look at the back of the chair. So 2 areas that you want to be even on, the top and the bottom. And you're gonna place a couple of screws in there and I'll show you after I line this where they're gonna go. So you want the edge of the chair here because it goes to the edge of the chair here. So right here, this is center. Now I'm not gonna show you the first 2 screws because I'm gonna place them in so I can hold this thing in place because I'm holding it by hand. But if you were doing this, you wouldn't have to rotate it like I'm gonna do to point it towards the camera for you guys. hope that person's all right. If they're stuck in the pocket, I hope they can breathe. All right, so again, I'm gonna take my screw with my number 2 Phillips. Go ahead and screw in the 2. Okay, so right now that I screwed the 1, I want to make sure that this is still centered out where I want it. If it's not, it's easy to unscrew that screw and go ahead and realign it. What makes it harder, especially if you're doing it by hand with a Phillips screwdriver, is if you screw those in and you see that it's not even, then you're unscrewing 5 bolts, which I just dropped one. Okay, and then we're gonna go cross. So I did this one first up here. I'm gonna do the lower one, and then I'll flip the chair towards you so you can see the rest of them. And again, you wanna hold the chair down so that way as you're screwing in, it holds the chair in place. I'm gonna have to go back and do that one again, but it's held in place so I don't have to worry about it moving now. So with the chair, there's 5 screws with the seat. There's 1 right here, there's 2 over here, and then there's 2 on this side. So I went cross. I went from here to here. Now I'm gonna go here to here, and then screw this last one in. So I would say the most difficult part about this chair is just lining up the cushion part to make sure you have that centered. Because there is no guide other than your perception of where things need to be. So again, I'm going to get the other side of the cross. And then the very top. And that's it. Your chair is now fully assembled. And as you can see, so this is the second chair. So if you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment. If you didn't like anything, then go ahead and leave a comment as well. Please like and share with your friends. And if you're not a subscriber yet and you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys for watching and have a wonderful day.